20 minutes to activate. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! What? Especially when Mr. Howard blesses us. Speak his name, Todd Howard? At this point, I'm still several levels away from my goal. I need to find a way to both A, reach level 23, and B, acquire a weapon that I could use to obtain circuitry once I do hit level 23. After that, it should be easy to fully and completely transform this island. I don't have enough supplies right now to keep capturing raiders, so while I run around this island and swim around between the different floats looking for an answer, let's talk about Spectacle Island. The real Spectacle Island. You're looking to transform this place into something new, but the greatest transformation that Spectacle Island saw came in the 1990s. But first, let's back it up about 50 years to the 1940s. Following the time I mentioned earlier where the island was home to several different factories, once they had all closed down, the city of Boston was in need of a landfill. Every day, thousands of pounds of trash were moved to the island. There aren't too many pictures from this era online, so like any incredibly thorough journalist, I placed a call to the Boston Archives Library.
City of Boston Archives.
My name is Wilson. I'm an independent researcher, and I'm actually writing a story on the history of Spectacle Island. Are you familiar with the video game Fallout 4?
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything.
Most albums and information I'd have to go all the way to Boston and see in person, and that's just not feasible for me, but they were able to share a few photos with me. These two photos being from 1952, these two photos being undated and unknown. Judging by the lighting and quality, they're probably all in the early 50s, so near the end of the island's life cycle as a trash heap. In 1959, they stopped dumping trash onto the island, and like most of society's problems, they shrugged their shoulders and let the pile of waste slowly seep into the Boston Harbor over the next 40 years. 40 years. They just ignored it. It's not like the island was helping bring the Red Sox a championship, so why help it out? Throughout the next few decades, the island became so notorious for its awful stench that there are stories of ships using the smell to navigate through the harbor on foggy days. Just imagine that. You're out in the middle of the water, it's foggy, you can't see anything. Must be heading east. Now this is just a rumor, but I'm hearing some describe the island as smelling like an early 2000s Halo 2 LAN party. I can't quite confirm those theories though. So when did it turn into what it is today? This brings us forward again to the 1990s, in which the most expensive highway construction project in United States history began. Dubbed the Big Dig, this project saw multiple highways, intersections, a whole bunch of new road systems put in place between the years of 1991 and 2006. If that name, the Big Dig, rings a bell, it's because of this quest in Goodneighbor where you meet Bobby Can't Sniff. One portion of the Big Dig, that being the Ted Williams Tunnel, left the city with so much excess dirt and clay, they then used the leftovers to fill in the island. Before that could occur though, a massive cleanup project had to take place in the island because it still existed as a landfill. One of the cooler parts of all of this, before the land was deposited and the island filled in, a survey project took place on a lot of the Boston Harbor islands. This turned up evidence of Native American life dating back almost 6,000 years based on the types of tools and projectile points that were uncovered. As for Spectacle Island specifically, what was found here are what we call shell middens, essentially a long-term pileup of shells, old tools, animal bones, etc. that sort of form one solid wall or clump over time. This helps researchers paint a clearer picture and understand what native populations may have been up to, when they may have been up to it, etc. Based on their findings listed on the state of Massachusetts online exhibits.
Alright boys, I gotta go. About to party now that I'm no longer a phobe.
There we go, dude.
Let's go. I'm feeling a lot better actually now that my name's been cleared officially. I was literally unable to sleep over the weekend some nights because it was just fucking eating me up like what's gonna happen, but
so thankfully, even though it took
as Future said, life is good.
For Spectacle Island. It took lots of transformation, but now
Alright, I'm gonna catch you guys after dinner.
Peace. Proud of. A deep, rich history, all of it leading up to the exact moment where you are sitting there watching some YouTuber use it as a segue and a metaphor for a useless set of tips to help transform the island in a fictional post-apocalyptic setting. During that brief history lesson, our friend Wilson spent a few hours wondering how he's going to hit level 23 without access to more raider spawns. It's during these few hours of desperation where island psychosis may set in and you'll be looking for new ways to cure your own boredom. This is going to be good for keeping yourself, fit and elastic. It's going to keep those joints loose. Also, if you are failing at building a fire, this is a great way to get the attention of any passing helicopters or aircraft. Since I'm living on an island, and my character is a boy, I'm an island boy, and all of this island boy. There's contract. Don't swim. Swimming is cringe. Don't swim. Swimming is cringe. Oh, damn, nothing through the harbor on foggy days. Curl up of shell, etc. To the ocean and transforming up to setting. 23 without access to more raider spawns. It's during these few hours of desperation where island psychosis may set in and you'll be looking for new ways to cure your own boredom. This is gonna be good for keeping yourself, fit and elastic. You know, it's gonna keep those joints loose. Also, if you are failing at building a fire, this is a great way to get the attention of any passing helicopters or aircraft. Since I'm living on an island and my character is a boy, I'm island boy, and all of this island boy. There's contract. Is that Liberty Prime? I think that's Liberty Prime. Y'all see that? Oh, he's gone. I'm going crazy. That. Oh, Prime? I think that's Liberty Prime. Y'all see that? Oh, he's gone. I'm going crazy on the island now. I'm starting to just see things. At this point, the island is pretty much devoid of any and all crafting materials. We did the math, and shelf spamming my way to level 23 wasn't feasible, so we started to theorize ways we could use the rafts around the island to hack some more loot spawns into the game. Oh my gosh, they are refilling. Oh, there's a bed right here. What? We have a floating bed? This was the first big find in what essentially began our search for an effective loot loop. You see, in Fallout 4 standard settings, there's a setting called U-grids to load with a default value of 5. This means at any given moment there are 5 cells loaded around the player in the... I gotta stop coming back here so quick. Why the hell are my toolboxes not reloading? We found a fuse. Okay, combination wrench. All right, glad to see at least 2 of my students brought something to the table, but you 2, I can't even begin to describe how disappointed I am in you. Yeah, you sit there and think about it. Oh man, there's nothing again. Please, Todd. Oh, please. Oh, you're making me regret it, boys. You're making me regret it. Gentlemen, you're better than this. I've trained you. The fuck did you just say to me? Alright, never mind. It's not an effective strategy, but you've got a win here. You can abuse the game's cell logic to generate some stuff. That stuff is going to be pretty inconsistent at best, however. It was around here that I started to lose all hope. I started believing that we'd just be better off starting from scratch and rolling the dice that we'd pull circuitry from the start. But then we made 2 discoveries that changed everything and saved the entire run, making the great transformation of Spectacle Island possible for a second time. I appreciate all the help though, chat. Thank you all. Your passion is what drives me to complete intense gaming goals like this. Follow the path. It's right there. I just had to follow the... we found it. I played Marco Polo with chat for like 40 minutes to try and find this chest. We found it. It was right here the whole time. Oh, baby. 308 rounds, 45 bottle caps, medics, med tests, sniper. Oh, yeah. Some more sleep to make sure the chest respawns. Please. Yes, the chest does. Oh, my God. There's still one more piece to the puzzle, though. I was telling my chat a story of how a recent Pokemon video I'd stumbled upon inspired me to keep pushing through the monotony when, for like 15 hours total, re-roll the same encounters over and over. Honestly, probably even longer than that. I was... This is it. This is the final quick save, quick load, and then we're done. First try? Really? First try. Now that is an epic gaming moment. All right, plasma rifle, please. Circuitry, yield it. I have waited hours and hours, ran around this island so many times, scrapped every ounce that we possibly could, and now is finally the moment. Are you ready? Wow. Hold on. Let me just enjoy it one more time. Let's do it in slow motion this time. Ooh, yes. Okay, nice, very nice. After passing nearly 4 months of in-game time, we have hurdled our last big obstacle on the island. Are there better, more efficient ways to get to this point? I think a better question is, who asked your opinion? Now, you may think that getting people to swim half a mile through sludge to come live on a barren island is difficult, but actually...
I heard your radio beeper, so I figured, why not? Why not?
Oh, another person who just casually swam over here in a three-piece suit. In patchwork pants and a three-piece suit. You swam across the Boston Harbor. Before you know it, people are flooding in. Jobs are being handed out like crazy. The water economy is being abused by a tyrant. It finally will feel like Spectacle Island has come into the modern age. A lot of your grinding for resources should be automated now by your charitable inhabitants. I was done worrying about XP at this point, and you would be too after nearly 10 hours of running in circles and reloading quick saves. You can take Spectacle Island in any direction you please, but over the next few months in-game, I focused on building a main attraction, one that can turn my version of Spectacle Island into the tourist destination it now exists as. Gentlemen, you have all fought valiantly and stood by me the entire time on this island, and now you shall reap the reward for your time of service spent here on Spectacle Island. And no, on Spectacle Island, execution of POWs is not a war crime. Okay, that was a really... Okay, that was very underwhelming. But this is why iteration was invented. Oh man. So this is what they see. They're welcomed to my island by a deadly force of calculated assassin soldiers, a front line of defense, 2 turrets off to the side that can snipe them from a distance, high-level commanders in back guiding the operation. This is the last thing you're gonna see before death. This is what you see when the gates of hell are opened and you are welcomed to its fiery pits. Let's just try this out with one gunner, right? One target, we'll do some practice. You've trained long and hard for this day. 4, count 'em, 4. Enemies are about to storm our beaches. You are armed, dangerous, handsome, and leather-clad. May your accuracy just work. What is he doing? He's acting like he's one of the residents of the island. He's a non-combatant. You guys can't just murder him. Oh my god, I actually died. I actually blew it. Alright, here's to hoping that this is a magical experience. Come on, come on. Oh my god, it actually got all 3 of them. It looks like they're permanently ragdolled if they land in the water. They can't get up. There's no recovery. Right before your death, you're face down with an army of Todds. You fall. Boom. Down into a cannon. You launch into the sky, flying at immaculate slow-motion speeds. You land. Oh no, there's explosive turrets right behind you. I should probably put them on this top level, shouldn't I? Alright, our new build. Build 2.0. I want a good view of this. 1 missed. We're 3 for 4. Okay, that one went flying. That one just went straight up. The turrets are having a heyday on this invisible guy. Oh, they're lighting him up. Everyone else can walk all over this island, but only on the X-axis. I haven't given anybody permission to use the Z-axis. She's actually getting higher. She's actually... God, get away. Oh, okay. Whew. Oh my god. It works. It looks really stupid all the way up there, but it works. Come on. Oh, damn it. Okay, we got 3 of them. Oh, there's no way. They're taking out my turrets. Come on. Okay, you know what? Bastards. You know, fuck off. Hold on, wait. I want to see the rest of the show. You guys can't shoot into the water. Oh, look at that one go. 5 stars. What a shot. Oh, that one's way off. That's a good shot. start the water show. 4 for 4, a new record. Never happened, but holy crap, that one's gone. He's in the next zip code. It's human skeet shooting. After spending so much time staring at sleep countdowns and reloading saves to get an XP bump, I just wanted to have some fun, make my settlers generate cash for me, and try to create silly experiences like Spectacle Island's brand new state-of-the-art Animal Preservation Center. Lots of local donations have led to the largest wildlife preserve in the Boston Harbor. You see, with challenges like this, eventually the questions of how do I do this or how can we get past that start to run out. I could have gone into detail what grinding was like with the settlers themselves, but there weren't any obstacles or questions to be answered along the way. Just kind of waiting a bit for the right materials to appear in shop or in the workbench. No real mystery, just clowning around. And as fun and gimmicky as throwing up security cameras via a definitely not Creation Club paid add-on is, oh, there's Todd Camera. Don't worry, Todd Camera's still good. It wasn't scratching the same itch for me, and my time on Spectacle Island kind of died out. And that's okay. Maybe you'll try this out. Maybe you'll get bored immediately and move on. Maybe you'll run into an obstacle I didn't. Maybe you'll reach the point of sustainability much faster than I did. That's why I do this series. That's why I love telling these stories, because each one presents a different challenge. I like digging into a small part of these games and pulling what I can out from them, extracting what little stories they might hold. Which is probably why when I went down the rabbit hole of Spectacle Island's real history, I found myself obsessed with finding every possible detail regarding a story that occurred in 1846. I'd like to preface this story by saying that the subject material is a bit dark, and I have no plans on jokingly connecting it to the goofy story of Wilson and the fictional Spectacle Island. This is the story of a man named George. He has no pictures, depictions, and I can't actually confirm whether or not this was his real name. About 10 years before Spectacle Island housed the factories that I mentioned earlier that would place us in 1846, it actually existed as the land for 2 hotels. Given the remote nature of the island and the fact that they were shut down just 10 years later due to illegal gambling, I'm going to assume either traders or those who were pretty well off would stay here. I can't confirm that, however. In the same year of the hotel's creation, a man named Captain Hannum sailed his ship, the Ottoman, north from Louisiana to Boston along the American coast. Upon arriving in Boston, he noticed a young man stowing away on his ship. That same young man was placed under the arrest of Captain Hannum and taken under guard to Spectacle Island. He was a freedom seeker who fled from his enslaver and found himself aboard Captain Hannum's ship seeking refuge in the city of Boston, which housed one of the largest abolitionist communities in America. That brings George and Captain Hannum to Spectacle Island, the main catalyst for this story. While on Spectacle Island, Captain Hannum went off to go get drunk at the hotel bar. During this moment, George made the quick decision to make his escape toward the Boston Harbor, first by rowboat, then by foot. Captain Hannum and crew chased George the whole way, jumping fences, through yards, unfortunately recapturing George before he could find refuge. Stories of George's escape attempt from Spectacle Island started making their way through the city. More importantly, they made their way to the abolitionist community within Boston, who had enough influence to bring about kidnapping charges and a $100 bounty for Captain Hannum's arrest and for George's release. Unfortunately, after quite a chase, Captain Hannum was able to hand off George to another ship called Niagara that was headed to New Orleans, while abolitionists gave chase towards Hannum's ship as a decoy. George's story sadly ends there, as he was presumably returned to Louisiana. You might be curious how I can describe this story in complete detail. Well, I did some digging past the surface level telling of this story on the National Park Service's website and found the archived letter that Captain Hannum himself wrote to the local Boston newspaper, the Times-Picayune, after this occurred. He tells the tale of a man who fears for his life, viewed as a traitor to the south and a slaver to the north. I won't give him much more airtime than that. I mentioned at the start of this video that Spectacle Island played an important role in American history and has deeper connections to the Fallout franchise than you might expect. That's because George's act of courage on Spectacle deeper connections to the start of this video that Spectacle Island played an important role in American history and has deeper connections to the Fallout franchise than you might expect. That's because George's act of courage on Spectacle Island doesn't end with his part of the story. The local community was in uproar, enraged that a man was illegally kidnapped and taken from the Boston Harbor. It is a question whether this Commonwealth is to maintain its independence as a state or not. It is a question whether your and my native Commonwealth is capable of protecting the men who are under its laws or not. Those were the words of the feebled 79-year-old 6th President of the United States, John Quincy Adams, as he delivered a speech to a raucous crowd at Faneuil Hall, one of the main gathering places for the Boston abolitionist community. Now, it's worth noting that John Quincy Adams has a checkered past regarding slavery personally, Professionally and politically, however, he was hostile to the practice of enslavement, so his appearance and speech on George's escape from Spectacle Island and subsequent kidnapping is certainly significant. It indicates the changing